Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite type of list on this channel. Cause we all saw that everyone really liked the other one last year, as you can see here. But before we begin, I just want to clarify: if you guys disagree with any of these takes, that is perfectly fine. Don't take my opinion as fact, but don't come at me with the well, where's your music? Make better music than that. Don't come at me with that, because that's like going to a restaurant and a cook bringing you your food, and you say it's shit, and they're like, oh well, you make a better meal. Like, that's such a shitty and hollow argument. Just say I really very much disagree, and here's why I disagree, and I will most likely reply to you because I like interacting with y'all. And I do want to mention that at least 4 or 5 of these albums are just bored me to tears, and that's why they're here. They are here. It's not like they are like excruciatingly bad. They just bored me to tears. So at least 5 of them are, but a good chunk of these are actually not good. All right, at number 10, we got "Toxic Grace" by Evil Dead. So this is the first time ever listening to this band, and I may go and listen to the one that they released in the 80s. I think they released one in 89. But focusing on this one, I mean, just look at that album art. Like, this screams just washed up thrash musicians. And the album art basically is a 2020 type of cover. And why are they making this now? They're like fashionably late, like, to the trend of like writing like COVID music. Like, everyone's a sheep. Like, when I saw this cover, I knew this was just gonna be bad. I knew it was gonna be bad. This album is basically old men yelling at clouds for 40 minutes, and it is pretty annoying to listen to. There are also some cringe titles on here, like FAFO, which means fuck around and find out. Good lord. These dudes are probably like in their 60s. And Stupid on Parade, which is a parody of Rage Against the Machine's Bulls on Parade. Like, that's it. That's as creative as you can get with that. And World of Rats, spelled with a V instead of an F of the O, of the of. Not only is this a very annoying and a brain dead album lyrically, but the production on this album is so sterile, and the riffs are uninspiring and boring. If you listen to a single song of this, you'll be like, "Oh, I've heard that somewhere." Yeah, but that's because they're all basically generic thrash riffs that you've heard definitely before. There are like 2 or 3 good riffs on here. Reverie has a cool riff, but it's not really even a thrash riff. It sounds more like a death metal riff. And the vocal performance on here is so mundane, it's so monotone, it's so boring, it's so lifeless, that after the first 4 songs, I just wanted it to end. It was just so hard to listen to. There's the only creativity that is in this album is the album cover, even though the album cover is awful. And this is basically a wake up sheeple type of album, and it's just so out of touch. So that's number 10. My number 9 is the Scarlet Rot Self titled. I saw this album cover and I was pretty intrigued because I do like Elden Ring. But what did I get? I got slop. I got a bunch of shit. A bunch of modern deathcore slop. This has Dickie Allen on it, which if you don't know is the vocalist of Infinite Annihilator, which I am also not big on. I do say at least this album is relatively short. That being said though, it's extremely boring, and so it makes it seem like it lasts like twice as long. There were no tracks on here that I thought were memorable or like even a highlight or that I could say a good thing about. The riffing, I guess, is what I strongly dislike about modern just core in general. Just heavily reliant on that bottom low end chug and the laser noises of instead of like writing actual good riffs. This is just deathcore, modern deathcore at its sloppiest and its most boring. So that is my number 9. My number 8, this is Cycles of Ruin by Askel. Now, this type of sludge, I just don't get. It's completely fine if you like it. Completely fine. Especially this album, because this is more of a, I don't know, all these are like taste oriented or whatever, but I completely understood if someone like talked about this album and was like, yeah, I disagree, I actually love that. That's perfectly fine, because this type of sludge I just don't like at all. When it leads more to atmosphere instead of like the riffs and like just the type of sludge that Acid Bath and Crowbar make, I love, but this is just extremely boring. Yeah, it's like very noisy, and if you like that, here you go. But each song sounds so identical, and I don't know when I listening to this, I didn't know when one song started and one song ended. The vocals on here are fine. They're fine. But everything else is just one-dimensional and just boring. It's only 33 minutes, but it feels like an hour. And yeah, I could totally understand if someone disagrees about this one. I just never liked this type of sludge at all. I find it very tedious, and just go listen to like, I don't know, atmospheric black metal or something. Now this next one, number 7, I'm sure a lot of core kids will be very happy with me. This is a New Order of the Mind by Dealer. Oh boy, you guys are gonna love me for this one, for my opinion. I'm sure you will. Especially the dude from last year who commented, who was a big, I think, Alpha Wolf fan. Hi, buddy. First of all, I'm not gonna touch the controversy of the frontman of this band, because I don't feel like arguing with people about it. But it's just another rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. But just know, for those of you who don't know, that everyone who's been in the band previously and wrote on their good EP has left the band because of this dude. And first of all, the production on this album compared to the EPs is a massive drop off. Some of the songs have different production from track to track. The riffs, if you want to call them that, are fucking laughable. Pearl is basically a butt rock song, and Almost Human is the embodiment of why I hate this type of sound. And honestly, this would be a lot better if, it was never released and Dealer broke up and Aiden was in prison. And if you disagree, don't be this dude. Don't be this dude. Don't be this dude. Okay, number 6 is a weird one for those who watch the channel or know my taste and what I talk about. This is a Vultures 2 by Kanye West. Cheetos, baby. Why my feet smell like Fritos, baby? Do you want some tacos, baby? I'm not Superman, I cannot save you. Crush my dad, I just took his ankles. My grandma fat, she ain't got no ankles. They say I'm going up like a bomb. I'm about to blow up just like a bomb. Now, I know this is a metal-based channel, and I mostly cover metal, but remember, for those of you who remember last year, I had an electro-industrial album in my top 10 last year. So, like, the last year, I've tried to go out of my comfort zone, and I discograd Kanye, and I did like a good chunk of his albums. I like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, College Dropout, Graduation, even though I think Graduation is a bit overrated. I listened to Vultures 1, and good lord, that was terrible. Carnival was one of the worst fucking songs I've ever heard. And I could even barely I could barely look at the album cover for Vultures 1 because it made me cringe way too hard. And the album cover for this isn't as bad, but somehow he made even worse fucking music. Somehow. He outdid himself, but not positively. This is a barely finished album, and it's pure, the production is just pure AIDS. The vocal performances on here are laughable and downright annoying, especially on Field Trip and Time Moving Slow. Bomb. What? Dude. Take a shot every time they say bomb, because you will fucking die. This is one of the most laziest songs I've ever heard, and dude. Yeah, so this is basically a not even half baked. It's like fucking you just made cookie dough and you put it in the oven for like 2 seconds and you took it out. That's what this album is. Yeah, and it's just straight up bad. So yeah, that's my number 6. Number 5, I might, if you've heard this, you might be pissed off, but I don't like this for specific reasons. This is Triumph of Fire by Darghl. Now, if you thought Glenn Benton of Deicide constantly doubling his vocals and making it sound like a demon was obsessive, like all the time, oh boy, you'll love this one, because the entire album has doubled vocals. The entire thing. 44 minutes. The entire thing. And guess what? The vocals sound like ass too. So yeah, this album basically sounds like if you typed in black metal instrumentals on YouTube and combined it with super unneeded doubled vocals. That's what this sounds like. 44 minutes of royalty-free black metal music with Deicide-esque vocals. When I say Deicide-esque, I meant just the doubling, because that's the only band I could think of that does it a lot. This is like the most paint-drying type of black metal I've ever heard. And the worst part is that some of the songs are 99% boring, but then at the very end they'll throw in a riff that sounds okay. Then you're like, where the fuck was this for like most of the song? That one just annoyed me. But what's even more annoying is my number 4 spot. This is One and Only by Anvil. Yeah, so this one I kind of feel bad for shitting on so hard, because if you watch an interview with these dudes, they love metal a lot. They seem like wholesome dudes, but this is not it at all. Yeah, this is one of the worst metal albums. That's a lot of the songs just sound like AC/DC to me, or like Deep Purple. If Deep Purple was like not good. And the thing that makes this terrible, like the most terrible thing about it, is that every single chorus, every single one, is the laziest type of fucking chorus I've ever heard in my life. He repeats the song title like so many fucking times. That's all. Like every single song is the same chorus wise. They will repeat the song title like fucking 5 times. And the instrumentals are also generic as fuck. And the vocals. This whole album sounds like a bunch of boomers doing karaoke over like a generic rock track at like a bar, and they just improvise the lyrics. This is higher than the other 3 because this is 40 minutes and it's literally excruciating to listen to when you just know that what the choruses are will be, and the most lackluster like vocal performance of all time. I think it's time to throw in the towel, guys. I'm sorry. Number 3, I'm sure some of you will be shocked that this is as low as it is, but this is Killing for Revenge by 6 Feet Under. Oh boy, but I'm sure some of you guys saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah, 6 Feet Under is back with their new album, and honestly, somehow I'd rather listen to Nightmares of the Decomposed. I'm kind of disappointed. There are no e's, and there's always wah. There's none of those present. Jack Owens is like, Chris, people are laughing at us. You need to stop doing that. And they're like, he's like, okay, I'll start doing the barky warkies. And as you can tell, or as you can assume, the lyrics are garbage. The chorus for Ascension is word for word. I want to repeat it. I'm going to say it right now. This is word for word the chorus. Scheme, lie, ascension, ascension, life, blood, ascension, dead humans. He says that like fucking twice in a row. As soon as he says, ascension, ascension, blood, dead humans. Dude, I can't. I just can't. Oh, also, the solo fucking sucks on that song, too. Like, I don't know what Jack Owens is doing, but he's using the fucking wall, like, Kirk Hammett fucking busting his balls on it, and then shredding, like, a fucking, like, Slayer solo. And you know Slayer is everyone loves Slayer solos. Yeah, and like I said, I'd rather listen to Nightmares of the Decomposed because at least that's funny and I can laugh at. This is just fucking dry as hell. Instrumentally though, I think Neanderthal is okay. It's okay. The doomy riffs are okay. A little okay. Also, No Nothing Ingrate is about his haters. Is about Chris Barnes' haters. Some of the lyrics on this are mentally defective, neglected, and dejected. Worthless drivel rolls off your tongue, respected by none. That last part is very ironic, respected by none, because no one nowadays respects Chris Barnes. No one. Because he's a laughingstock, and yeah, I don't need to get into it. You already know. And I literally don't know why they keep trying. Yeah, I'm gonna say try. I don't know why they keep trying to cover hard rock songs, because the Hair of the Dog cover is so fucking bad. I had to go back and listen to some of these tracks, writing like my notes and shit for this, and it is so hard to listen to. And the funny thing about it is that it literally sounds like production wise, it sounds like something I could fucking boot up Pro Tools and like cover in an hour. That's what it sounds like. This came from Metal Blade Records, the same record label that Cannibal Corpse is signed to. How fucking sad is that? I could make something that sounds better than that, and without even any mixing too. I get. Dude, I can't. We're moving on before I get carried away. Alright. Number 2, this is Fossilized Remains by Phosphorus. Now, this has got to be just... It is impressive. It's got to be one of the worst sounding death metal albums I've heard in general. Not just this year, but in general. This literally... The entire album sounds like if you programmed every instrument in GarageBand. And yes, even the guitar. The guitar tones is one of the worst guitar tones I've ever fucking heard, ever. And the vocals sound like he's doing like death metal ASMR. Or if you took Bahara vocals, but made them 10 times worse, and like made them super quiet in the mix. And somehow this sounds worse than 6 Feet Under. Vocally, I guess I would still take these vocals over Chris Barnes, obviously, but like sound-wise, how do you manage this? And I don't know how you could achieve a guitar tone so bad. You have no idea. You should have seen my face when I first heard this. Like, that guitar tone is just pure garbage. It is actually impressive. And it kind of sucks because this album art is pretty cool. But yeah, this basically sounds like an album made in GarageBand by like, I don't know, people who discovered death metal like a year and a half ago, and they're like, you know what, let's make something, but I can't afford instruments because I won't get a job. Sorry, that's a bit harsh, but I'm sorry. It doesn't sound good at all. And at number 1, I was very hesitant to put this at number 1 because I don't think this dude deserves to be number 1 on any list, but it's Popular Monster by Falling in Reverse.
Bad guy, I'm a savage, I'm obsessive, I'm dramatic, I'm a loner, I'm an addict, I'm so goddamn problematic. I'm the bad guy, I'm a loser, I'm a psycho, believe the rumors. I got bad thoughts, I got bad vibes, I don't act right, it's nice to meet you, 'cause I'm a bad guy, I'm a savage, I'm an autistic fucking retard.
Yeah, like I said, I was very hesitant to put this on number 1 because I didn't want to give him like the satisfaction of being number 1 on any list, but it pained me because I wanted to be true to myself that this was clearly the shittiest thing I've ever heard all year. And where do I even begin with this? This isn't going to be like a in-depth review, but where do I even begin with this fucking dumpster fire? Should I start with the fact that this dude is 41? It sounds like he's making music for an edgy, or he sounds like an edgy 14-year-old. Like, this is the type of music an edgy 14-year-old would make, not a fucking 41-year-old man. Trigger Warning kind of sounds like a Tom McDonald song with a pop chorus, and the lyrics just get the fuck off Twitter. No Fear is literally a fucking Tom McDonald song. And speaking of getting off Twitter, Zombified. Sonically, kill me, but sonically, it's solid sonically. However, the lyrics are like, wah, wah, they keep canceling me, wah, wah, wah. Get off Twitter. Get off Twitter. If you're gonna complain about people canceling you, just get the fuck off Twitter. Words cannot describe how fucking shit this is. Also, did I mention that 7 of these songs are singles? 7. And guess what? 3 of them came out in 2019. So how new is this? 5-year-old songs on a new album. And the Last Resort cover is just as bad as you think. They basically took the Disturbed route and over dramatize it with like a piano and fucking. Also, the breakdowns, are pretty much the exact same on Popular Monster, Voices in My Head, and Zombified, which are the 3 singles that came out 5 years ago. Like, if you played any of those breakdowns to me, just the breakdowns, I would not be able to tell you which song it is, because literally, they're creatively bankrupt. And they're pretty much the fucking same. The most I can give credit to this album is that Ronnie sounds probably the most tolerable compared to his previous releases vocally. And I think the chorus on All My Life is catchy. Sorry. That's like the only good things I could say about this. And why does he sound like MGK on Bad Guy? I'm started. I'm blah, blah. Why? That's a fucking annoying way to sing. And I never wanted to chop my ears off more. Overall, yeah, this is basically a grown fucking man, just enough to be my dad, old enough to be my dad, by the way. Writing music that sounds like he never left the age of 14 and he wants everyone to love him, but yet takes pride in the shitty things he's done. He wants people to like him while also taking pride in doing shitty things. Or like he's like, "Oh yeah, none of those fucking things are true." And then another side is like, "Oh, those are true. All right. I'm a badass." Sorry. Yeah, this shit is fucking garbage. I gave it a 2 out of 10 because I think it has very minimal redeeming qualities. Like, his vocals are a lot better, and some of the choruses are catchy. That's about it, though. The rest of this album is just fucking trash. But yeah, that is my top 10 worst albums of the year. The albums of the year this year were probably worse than the last year's. Probably because Falling in Reverse dropped. But anyway, that's besides the point. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my last top 10 of the year. And I hope you guys have a good New Year's.